view. And let's see, my battery doesn't die. So the first question. Just make it a little bigger. Okay. So the first question is nice and easy because it's in the format that we want. So there's not much to do. So the first one, -3 is our slope, right? So that's negative. So we're expecting. So let me put the -3 and put it over 1 actually. Remember, that's going to be our up and down. It's going to be my left and right. My y-intercept is +4, so it's going to cross this way. So it's negative, so we're expecting, we know our slope is going to go from left to right, but it's going to go down. So let's create another point. We only need 2 points, right, to create a point. So from here, we're going to go 3 down, 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. We have to go right, because when we connect the dots, right, it's going to be a line that goes point down. So just in case, let me say that instead of we went 3 down, instead of right, we went left. Well, if you connect it, look, you're going to get a line whose slope would be positive, so you know you're incorrect. So that would be a hint for you to say, okay, you know what? I'll go back and do it that way. So now if you want another point, just go 3 down again, 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. And that's enough. And again, I'm on a tablet, so it's really hard. Oh, come on. Okay, so forgive me. So that's my line, and then please label it, y equals -3x plus 4. Our second line is 3x minus 2, so again it's 3 over 1, but this time it's a positive slope, so we're going to expect the line to go up, and the y-intercept is -2, so it's right here. So we're going to go 3 up and 1 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and notice that, we have already an intersection there, 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. So let me connect these three lines. And these 2 lines meet right here. And what's that point? 0.1, 1. And that's the solution to both equations. So I'm going to do a check. I'm going to bring both equations out here. -3x plus 4. And I'll take the other, -3x plus 4. And I'll bring the other equation here, y equals 3x minus 2. So wherever I see the 1 for x, remember this is your x value and the y value, I'm going to replace them. So we know that this is correct. And at the bottom, 1 equals 3 times 1 minus 2. And definitely 1 equals 1 as well. So 0.11 is a solution to equation 1 and equation 2. This one, also it's easy. So now remember, there's a coefficient of 1. Don't forget that. So it's a positive slope, and with a y-intercept of +2. So it's going to cross the x-axis here. So let's take the slope, bring it over here. So it's 1 over 1, right? So it's going to be, here's my up and down movement, my left to right. So it's 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 to the right, and so forth. So this one, it looks like that. So label your lines, because I need to see what line we're talking about. And then the other one's x minus 3. So x minus 3, well, I'm going to look for x. Where's x? X is this, right? And -3 is right here. So let's go. X minus -3 is a straight line like this. And call that x equals -3. Where do they meet? They meet right here. Let me change colors to purple. And that point is -3, -1. And that's the solution to both equations. So again, I'm going to substitute. I'm going to get -1, -3 plus 2, and they're both equal to each other, so you work for equation 1. Equation 2, we have x equals -3. X here is -3, right? So substitute. And you notice that the left equals the right. So it's a solution to both equations, which is exactly what we want. 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, you have to do a little bit of rearrangements. So the first equation, I don't know, let me put it over here. X minus y equals 3. I want to isolate, so I want that to look like this. Y equals mx plus b, right? So let's get rid of the x first. So minus x on both sides. Cross that out. I get -y equals -x plus 3, right? Because that's a +3. Remember, there's a 1 over here, -1. So in order to change that to a positive y, we're going to divide that by -1, and we're going to divide everything by -1. -1 simplifies to just +1. Over there, we're going to get -x over -1 is just x. And +3 and -1 is -3. So our first equation looks like that. So I'm going to write y equals x minus 3. Our second equation is 7x minus y equals -3. Again, minus 7x on both sides. We're going to get -y equals -7x minus 3. We're going to, again, don't forget there's a 1 there, so divide everything by -1. So we get finally a positive y, positive 7x, and positive 3, right? Because negative and negative is positive. So the second equation now looks like this, right? Let me erase all this. So now that we have both equations in the format that we want, we can look at it. So the first equation, what's the slope? The slope is, well, you don't see a coefficient, but there's a 1 here. So the slope is 1, which we're going to put over 1. So this is your up and down, and this is your left to right. Where does it cross the y-axis? It crosses the y-axis on -3. So it's positive, so it's going to go up. It's going to go one up, one to the right, one up, one to the right, one up to the right, etc. And we can connect the dots. So this one looks this is y equals x minus 3. The other equation is y equals 7x plus 3. So that's the 3, the positive 3. Let's pull the 7 over here, put it over 1. So that's your up and down movement. This is your left and right. So notice that if you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't have room in the graph, right? But let's go the other way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 to the left, right? We're going to go left because this line also is positive. So that looks like this, right? It's still positive because it's going to go up from left to right. So this is your second line, 7x plus 3. Do they meet anywhere? Yeah, they meet right here. And what's that point? That point is -1, -4. So again, this point is a solution to both equations. So let's do our check. So let me bring equation 1 right here. X minus y equals 3. So if I substitute both values, I get -1 minus -4. -1, that becomes -1 plus 4. And we get 3 equals 3. So it works for equation 1. Equation 2, 7x minus y equals -3. I'm going to substitute again. So we get 7 times -1 minus -4 equals -3. Let's see if that's true. 7 times -1 is -7. Negative and negative gives me +4. Well, you can see that they're equal to each other. So our solution worked for both equations. And you could have substituted in this equation and this equation. It doesn't really matter. Again, last one, again, we have to rearrange it. So let's rearrange the 4. So 4x, the first one I mean, 4x equals y over 2, minus 4x, minus 4x. Y equals -4x plus 2. So that's what the first one is going to look like. The second equation is x minus y equals 3. So minus x, that goes away. We have -y equals -x plus 3. Remember, there's a 1 here, so again, we divide everything by -1. We're going to get y positive, positive x, and -3. So our second equation is going to go y, x minus 3. Okay, now we're ready to graph. First equation is negative slope, so we know it's going to go down. It crosses the y-axis at 2, positive 2. And it's -4, so let's put -4 and we'll put it over 1. So this is your up and down, this is your left and right. So we're going to go down, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have to go obviously to the right, right? Because when we connect these two dots, it should go down, right? So this is my y -4x plus 2. On next one, y equals x minus 3. Well, in front of the x, there's a 1, right? Right here. I'm going to put that 1 over 1. So this is my up and down, left and right. So this one is a positive slope, and it crosses the y-axis on -3, right? So 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up. So here's our line. Do they meet somewhere? Yeah, they meet. They intersect right here. And that point is 1, -2. Let's check. And we can take, 4 equations. You're thinking, either these two or these two. It really doesn't matter. Well, let's take the first. We get 4x plus y equals 2. If I substitute, I get 4 times 1 plus -2 equals 2. And that obviously is true. So that worked. The second equation, x minus y equals 3. If I substitute, x is 1 minus -2 equals 3. 1 minus -2 is 1 plus 2, which equals 3, and 3 equals 3. So it worked for top and bottom equation. So that solution is absolutely correct. Okay. So keep moving. 5 is substitution. So notice that both of them are already in the format that where y is already isolated. So you can do whatever you want. So you can either take the 4x minus y. So let me write it over here. Again, that's just a little bigger. So you can take this and plug it in here if you like. Or you can take x minus 3 and plug it in that y. It's really up to you. It's going to be the same thing anyway. So I'm going to replace, so I'm going to circle, highlight hopefully. Highlight, nope. Get the highlight. So I'm going to take this one and substitute it over here. So 4x minus y, so let me actually do it. So I'm going to write the equation. Y equals x minus 3. And in this y here, I'm going to replace that with 4x minus 9, which is equals x minus 3. On the other side, so now we do what we do. So let me bring that up here to get myself some more room. There's variables on both sides. Get rid of one of them. Remember I told you a long time ago, get rid of the smaller one. It's just easier. This goes away. I'm left with -3 on this side. 4x minus x is 3x minus 9. We do plus 9 on both sides. 3x equals 6 and x equals 2. Right? Divide both sides by 3. So that's 1/2. So now I can go to any other two equations. Let's pick the easier one. Y equals x minus 3. I'm going to replace x with 2. So over here I'm going to put a 2. And y is going to be -1. So that's my point. So on the graph, they would meet right here at 2, -1. So check. I'm going to take the first equation. I'm going to replace with the values that I found, 2 and -1. And you'll see that that's correct. Equation 2, y equals x minus 3. I'm going to replace. And you see that that's also right. Okay. It doesn't get any more, I don't get any difficult. This is it. There's nothing else, So again, this one is what do you call substitution, right? So we gotta have to rearrange. So for this one, I'm going to rewrite x minus y equals 13. In this case, I'm going to isolate x. You couldn't isolate y. It's up to you. I'm going to isolate x. So I'm going to do plus y. And I'll do plus y over here. If I do that, these two goes away, and x is y plus 13. Ta-da! So now I'm going to go back to my first equation. And wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with y plus 13. So 4 times y plus 13 plus 2y equals 10. So now it's just a matter of 4y plus, I don't know, what is that? 12, 52 plus 2y equals 10. You get 6y plus 52 equals 10. Minus 52 on both sides. 6y equals -42. Divide both sides by 6. Y equals -7. Now, I'm going to take the second equation because that's obviously the easier one. X minus y equals 13. I'm going to replace the y with -7. So x minus, be really careful. how you substitute here. So that becomes x plus 7 equals 13, minus 7 on both sides, x equals 6. So our solution is 6, comma, negative 7. Hopefully I'm correct. So let's check. First equation, 4 times 6 plus 2 times negative 7. That should give you 10. I replace the x and y with these two values. You get 24 minus 14 equals 10, and you can tell that they work out. Second equation, x minus y equals 13. Replace both of them. So x equals 6 minus negative 7. So be careful how you replace them. Negative 6 and 6 minus negative 7 is just 13. 13. So we are good. Hey, so far no mistakes. 7. Now 7 is nice and easy because they tell you what y is. So you already have 1/2 of your answer. You just got to find x. Why did I give you this problem? So let's replace. So 5x plus 4 times negative 5, right? I replaced it, equals negative 20. Put a line here. So 5x, that's negative 20, equals negative 20. So we want to get rid of the negative 20. We do plus 20 on both sides. We get 5x equals 0. And divide both sides by 5, x equals 0. So our solution is 0, negative 5. Well, let's see if that works. Equation 1, y equals negative 5. If I substitute, I get negative 5 equals negative 5 because that's what y is, right? So again, remember this is your x and this is your y. Second equation, well, 5 times 0 plus 4 times negative 5, all that should equal negative 20. 5 times 0 is 0. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Does that equal the right side? Yes. So our solution, 0, negative 5, is correct. Oh my god, I might be able. What time is it? 9:45. I actually be able to finish this, guys. Elimination, an all-time favorite. So you need to pick which variables you want to get rid of, either the x's or the y's. In this case, I'm going to pick the x. I'll multiply the top line by 2. I get 16x minus 6y, minus 12y, I'm doubling everything, equals negative 40. The bottom equation didn't change, so it's negative 16x plus 7y equals 30. Now, hopefully you were listening in class. Now, I have a positive 16 and a negative 16. Do I add or subtract them? If I add them, this is what it looks like. And positive 16x plus negative 16x, that's 0. Now, if you decide to subtract them, look, this is what happens. That does not equal 0. That, in fact, equals 32x because this eventually becomes this. So you don't want. So when the signs are opposite, so one is positive and one is negative, you want to add them. Okay. So again, if you can't see that, take that and pull it on the side and do it on the side in scrap paper. Okay. So now I want to add the top equation with the bottom equation. 16x plus negative 16x, that goes away. Negative 12y plus 7y is negative 5y. Negative 40 plus 30 is negative 10. Divide both sides by 5. Negative 5. Y equals 2. So we have our y value. Now pick the easy equation, or whichever one you think is easy. And let's solve for x. So 8x minus 6, and instead of the y here, I'm going to replace it with 2. So 8x minus 12 equals negative 20, plus 12 on both sides. 8x equals, what is this, negative 8. Divide both sides by 8. X equals negative 1. So our solution is 1, negative 1, comma 2. That's on the graph where they would meet. Well, check. So we're going to check on equation 1. Wherever we see the x, we replace it with negative 1. Wherever we see y, so this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So 8 times negative 1 minus 6 times 2 equals negative 20. 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. Negative 6 and 2 is negative 12. And that definitely gives you negative 20. On the right side, negative 16 times negative 1 plus 7 times 2 equals 30. Is that true? Negative 16 times 1 is positive 16. Plus 7 times 2, they're both positive, that's 14. And again, that point satisfies equation 1 and 2. We're good? Keep moving. This is the last problem? Really? Oh, 9. Sorry. So 9, again, you got to pick the x's or the y's, whichever one you want. I'm going to pick the x's. Why? Because one is positive and the other one is negative. I like that. But it's really up to you. So to keep that, I'm going to multiply the bottom equation times 6. So let me write the top equation. Nothing changes because I'm not doing anything to it. But the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply everything by 6. So negative 6, 6 times negative x is negative 6x. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36y. And 6 times 4 is 24. Now, like I was talking to you before, I have my x's where one is 6x and the other is minus 6x. So I want to add these two. 6x plus negative 6x goes away. Negative 12y plus negative 36y is negative 48y. And 24 plus 24 is 48. Divide both sides by negative 48. And y equals negative 1. Now, I want to pick one of the equations to find my x value. I'll pick the top one. So 6x minus 12 times negative 1 equals 24, right? Here's my replacement. So we get 6x plus 12. That's negative 12 times 1. That's going to be plus 12 equals 24. Minus 12 on both sides. 6x equals 12. Oops. Divide both sides by 6. X equals 2. Okay. Now, x equals 2. Our solution is 2, negative 1. The check. Pick either equation. You got 6 times 2 minus 12 times negative 1 equals 24. So we got 12 plus 12 equals 24. And that obviously is correct. Equation 2, we got minus, and replace that with x, which is 2. That's okay. Minus 6 times negative 1 equals 4. Put a parenthesis. Okay, so negative 2 and negative 6 and negative 1 is plus 6 equals 4. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. So it works for it. So this particular point satisfies equation 1, 2, and equation 1. 10. So over here, I'm going to pick, you could have picked the x's or the y's. If you pick x's, if you pick the x's to get rid of, you would have to, again, if you find a common multiple, what is 8 and 6, common multiple 24, you would have to multiply the top one by 3 and the bottom one by 2. Okay? So, hang on a second, guys. Well, I'm going to try to finish this. Okay? So, I'm going to pick the y's. I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2. Okay, because that's less work. So we got negative 8x minus 10y equals 24. That doesn't change. The bottom one becomes 12x, right? Everything gets doubled, plus 10y, and there's my, and then plus 4 equals 4, right? Everything gets doubled. 12x, 10, and 4. I get to add these two. Negative 8x plus 12x is 4x. Negative 10y plus 10y, that goes away. And 24 plus 4 is 28. Divide both sides by 4. X equals 7. Look how easy that was. Take the second equation because it looks a little easier. So replace the x with 7. You're going to get 6 times 7 plus 5y equals 2. 6 times 7 is 42 plus 5y equals 2. Subtract 42 from both sides. 42 goes away. We get 5y equals negative 40. Divide both sides by 5. Y equals negative 8. So our solution, negative 8 by the way, is 7 comma negative 8. Let's do the check on equation 1. So we get negative 8 times 7 minus 10 times negative 8. That should give you 24. Negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. And this is 10 times 8. It's going to give me positive 80. Is that equal to 24? Yes, it is. And the last one, 6 times 7, which here, and here's my x and y value, right? So we're going to substitute. So 6 times 7 plus 5 times, and what's y? Negative 8 equals 2. Well, 6 times 7 is 42. 5 times negative 8 is 40. Negative 40, by the way. And does that equal 2? Yes, it is. And that's it. Pretty straightforward.